It's April 17th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today. In this show, we talk about how Bitcoin is chess. We talk about Bitcoin securitization. We talk about global liquidity, what that's looking like, and why that's so exciting. We talk about how gold leads Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin just takes off afterwards. We have two epic video clips from Michael Saylor, and this video is not financial advice. Please comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. Just comment for support. Hit that like button. It truly means a lot. And let's dive on in. And our first post of the day is from Michael Saylor, who just wants us to know that Bitcoin is chess. It is chess. Now, I'd love to know in the comment section below, what do you think he means by that? I have my thoughts and my opinions, but I'm going to save it for now, and I will post it in the comment section below. But I want to know, what do you think he means by Bitcoin is chess? Chris says, if anyone ever asks you why Bitcoin is better money, show them this. Bitcoin is money perfected. So here's a commodity. We've got acceptability, divisibility, all these different things. Red, metallic. It's got a couple greens here, durability and fungibility, but a lot of reds and orange. Paper, few greens, acceptability, divisibility, fungibility, but it's got some issues, durability, profitability, scarcity, immutability. And what is digital? Well, the only green that we're missing here is acceptability. And we know that's coming. We know that that's coming. Everything else is green all the way. Wow. I mean, when you break it down like this, it's just so obvious. Michael Saylor wants us to know that there is a strategy to beat the Magnificent Seven. I know we've gone back to this chart a few times, but Michael Saylor keeps posting it because he just wants people to know this wasn't just like a one-time fluke. They're like, oh, one day of the year, like strategy was beating the Magnificent Seven. No, this is every day. This is every single day over the past year. The returns have been astronomical. Microsoft -7, Amazon -2. Tesla's doing great, but they're at 57%, 133% for strategy. Think about it. There is a strategy to beat the Magnificent Seven, and it's called strategy. Chris says Bitcoin's up 20% since its peak in 2021, and you think the bull run has ended? Cute. It hasn't even started yet. And that's actually where I want to move into this next post by the Bitcoin therapist about we're going to teleport to 120K. And this was a post by Quentin, who has quite a few followers here. Not that followers really ever mean much, but just, he's got a lot of followers. It is what it is. But he believes that 120,000 Bitcoin is coming, and he's not alone. A lot of people think this. Why? Because global liquidity has been going like this for the last 108 days. This is an approximate 108-day offset because Bitcoin typically follows global liquidity by 108 days. Or this is actually a 10-week lead specifically. So not 108 days, but 10-week lead. And look at what happens when you see if Bitcoin follows the global liquidity lead. Man, it's a pretty looking future there. I want to be a part of it. That's why I'm not timing the markets. I am time in the markets. Strategy Archive wants us to know that the golden era of Bitcoin securitization has arrived, transforming how investors access digital assets. Just as mortgage-backed securities revolutionized housing finance in the 70s, Bitcoin is becoming the foundation for sophisticated financial products. Strategy leads this revolution through innovative instruments, zero interest convertible bonds, Strike 8%, Strife 10% preferred shares, enabling Bitcoin portfolios with varying risk profiles. Bitcoin's volatility, once seen as a liability, is now a strategic asset, enhancing product value and attracting sophisticated market participants. With 531,000 Bitcoin, Strategy demonstrates how these products create self-reinforcing market dynamics. As institutions gain Bitcoin exposure through regulated vehicles, we're witnessing just the beginning of a fundamental shift that will integrate Bitcoin into mainstream finance. Ba-boom. Good job, Strategy Archive. Love it. And Adam wants us to know that since October 1st, Michael Saylor has been accumulating Bitcoin at an average of 1,274 Bitcoin per day. I mean, just think about that. 1,274 Bitcoin per day. And this is since October 1st. That's buying 133 million of Bitcoin per day. Insane. Let that number rot your fiat conditioned mind. The past 6 months have been absolutely berserk. Just imagine when multiple runs were going to the moon. Predictions on where we'll end in 2025. I'm skeptical we'll see accumulation numbers like November through January. I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 620 to 640,000 Bitcoin, which would be fantastic, by the way. And then here's a fun little graphic. $133 million daily budget on Bitcoin. Love it. The banks are crying. The birds are singing. Money's dropping from the sky. The Bitcoin rocket ship has departed. And we're going to end the post section today with a post from Stack Hodler who says, why has gold added 9.2 trillion in market cap in the past 14 months? Because investors are fleeing to scarce bearer assets as the global sovereign debt bubble implodes. Gold is far better than treasuries, but Bitcoin is the ultimate scarce bearer assets, finite, easily divisible, easy to send globally, 24/7 liquidity with low fees. And it's only a matter of time until BTC rejoins the hard money party. Add 9 trillion to Bitcoin's market cap and it'll be worth $518,000 per coin. But let's not forget, there's still a massive amount of capital that needs exposure to Bitcoin and gold. Global equity and bond portfolios are going to leak into Bitcoin. First a trickle, then a deluge. We're ultimately going to 1 million per coin and beyond as humanity rediscovers the joys of saving in hard money without counterparty risk. The fiat epoch will be seen as a dark period in personal finance, a time when centralized entities could steal your time and energy by diluting your life savings with a keystroke. When people were forced to speculate on all kinds of risky ventures just to try to maintain their purchasing power, the future is one in which honest work and diligent savings is enough to make you reliably wealthier by the day. But with Bitcoin still below $100,000, there remains an opportunity to establish a generational fortune by outstacking the majority. Some will read this and ignore it. Others will be inspired to change their family's fortune. But one thing's for sure, the actions you take today will echo through your lineage for generations to come. And what actions are you taking? That's my question. And we have so much great video content coming out from Michael Saylor that you're not going to want to miss when we get back from thanking our sponsors. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right, that purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR. So check it out. I know we're all looking to stack more Bitcoin and MSTR, and to do that, we need more fiat. So let's chat about our sponsor, ShipStation. We all know the market can seem pretty chaotic at times, but if you're in charge of order fulfillment for your business, you already understand chaos. While we might not be able to help calm the chaos in the market, ShipStation is here to help when it comes to shipping and fulfillment. I've used ShipStation to easily automate shipping to customers around the globe. My favorite part about the platform, managing orders in one simple dashboard makes an otherwise massive task feel pretty darn simple. Plus, ShipStation not only integrates with the services and selling channels you already use, it's also the fastest, most affordable way to ship products to your customers. ShipStation hooks you up with discounts up to 88% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates, and up to 90% off FedEx rates. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to shipstation.com/MSTR to sign up for your free trial, or click the pinned comment below this video. That's shipstation.com/MSTR. And thank you for supporting our sponsors that allow myself and my team to continue to produce these daily videos for you for free. Now back to the show.
In your plan, the U.S. should acquire 5 to 25% of the total Bitcoin supply by 2035 to generate between $16 to $81 trillion by 2045. I'm wondering, what has been the reception of your plan at the White House by U.S. President Donald Trump? And I'd like to hear you talk about why this is a national security issue.
I think the last 2 weeks have been extraordinary for Bitcoin and for the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve because momentum is really building. 2 weeks ago, there were three priorities, or there were three things talked about in the digital assets universe. A stablecoin act, right? The Genius bill, and a bill to create stable coins and issue them in the U.S. And that really addresses the digital currency asset class. And then there's discussion of a market structure bill, and that's to create an entire digital assets framework, presumably to issue something akin to digital tokens or tokenized securities, digital securities. And then there is the Strategic Bitcoin Bill, or the Bitcoin Act. That was the third priority. And it was a question mark of where that was in DC. There was support, but people were wondering. What happened in the past 2 weeks is the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve got elevated to a primary, if not the primary priority, with the executive order. So the president created it. And I think there are some very important things that happened. On Thursday night, about a week ago, the president issued the executive order creating the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. And in the executive order, designated just Bitcoin to go in the reserve, said we should never, ever sell it. Don't sell the Bitcoin. And then directed the Secretary of Commerce and Treasury to look for budget neutral ways to acquire more Bitcoin. That was the strongest endorsement of any asset, I don't know, in 100 years, I think, by a president of the United States. You could imagine if the president has said, I'm directing the government to acquire silver and never sell it, and I want to buy more silver, or pick any asset, it would have been an extraordinary announcement. I think that was followed up by the Digital Assets Summit. And in the Digital Assets Summit, the president reiterated those points, and the Secretary of the Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce and Small Business Administration all were present and reiterated their support. That actually was quite amazing, along with all of the industry leaders being in one place at one time, and of uniform mind. And truth 14, Bitcoin is corporate. I talked a little about corporate law. I'm very sensitive to it because I ran a public company for many years. We came public in '98. Every public company in the world is capitalized on one of two things. You're either going to capitalize on short-dated treasuries or sovereign debt, in essence, currency, or you're going to capitalize on a commodity. Well, it turns out that every commodity other than Bitcoin underperforms the S&P index. It doesn't beat the cost of capital. So capitalizing upon silver or gold or palladium or oil makes no sense. There is one commodity that you can put 100% of a corporate balance sheet in. And that one commodity is a digital commodity, and that digital commodity is called Bitcoin. And so what does it mean? It means that for the first time in 100 years, companies can recapitalize, and they are recapitalizing. And what does that mean? That means a company starts by sweeping a little bit of excess cash, and then cash flows, and then it sells some equity, and then it issues some debt, and then another company follows, and another company follows. Right now, there's about 80 companies that are starting to buy Bitcoin, and there's probably 80 ETFs. We're going to see another one every week and another one every week, and pretty soon there'll be hundreds. And those hundreds become the gateways for hundreds of trillions of dollars of equity capital and fixed income capital to migrate into the entire digital assets economy. And you can see it right in front of your face. You see a company like Metaplanet goes from one hotel being worth a few $1 million to being worth $1 billion in 12 months. Where does it stop? It's not going to stop, right? If you're legitimate, you're corporate, right? You're going to see a transformation of mainstream organizations.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR Today. Here's my receipt from yesterday, April 16th. I purchased a 0.676 share of MSTR at $312 as I continue to buy $210 of MSTR every single trading day of 2025. Every Sunday, I reveal the entire portfolio, so check it out. And listen, it's a very interesting time right now. We all know that. It's important that you surround yourself with the right people, not the people who are fearing, who are spreading doubt and uncertainty and anxiety and stress. Surround yourself with the right people because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I'm honored to be one of those 5 during this 15 minutes because I think you know that I believe it's inevitable, the path that we're on, and that's inevitable with a Bitcoin B. So let's just have faith. If we trust in Bitcoin, which I do, and I hope you do as well, if we trust in Saylor, if we trust in Strategy and Fong Lee and the whole team and what MSTR is doing with Strike and Strife, if we have faith and we trust, which I do, we know that it's inevitable. And like Michael Saylor says, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.